So over on the left here, I've got what's called a REPL, a read, evaluate, print loop for Python. And this is just your interpreter. Basically, if you're using idle as your IDE, then this would be similar to what you see with your interpreter. Over on the right here, I've got my function. And what I've done is I've just commented out all this other code up here because I don't want that code to run. So I'm just going to run this function here. If you watch carefully what happens over on the left, when I run my function, so go ahead and run it now, we just see that the chevron gets reprinted and nothing appears to have happened. But over in my interpreter, I can now call the function by typing its name and in brackets any optional arguments. There are none in this case. So just by typing the function's name, open brackets, close brackets, the contents of that function then gets run. So whatever code's inside the function gets run. So it's asking me for a pin. I'll type in a pin, and then what gets spat out here is whatever I asked it to return. So that's one way of running a function. Now it's important now to note that this variable pin here is what's called a local variable. This variable only applies to what's inside the function. Outside the function, pin doesn't even exist. Let's just give you an example of that by typing print pin here. So what I'm doing is I'm running this function, okay, and I'm asking it to print out whatever pin is. Let's go over here and have a look at that. So run that, and we can see that we're getting an error over here of pin is not defined. So Python really doesn't know what pin is. Okay? It has no idea what pin is because it's inside the function. Even if I run the function getUserPIN 1, 2, 3, 4, and then try and ask Python what pin is, it still doesn't know what pin is. The name is just not defined. So this variable pin only exists inside the function. If I want to use it outside of the function, then what I'm going to need to do over here is I'm going to need to declare a variable. So I'm going to call it pin and make it equal to whatever that function outputs. Now I used the variable name pin here, but I didn't have to. I could have used pin like this, all capitals. I could have used personal identification number. It really doesn't matter what I was going to call it. This will be whatever getUserPIN is. So let's use pin all capitals. Pin equals getUserPIN. And now print pin. Let's see what happens when I run this function now. So over here the function gets run because here I've said pin is equal to getUserPIN. So straight away this line of code gets run. It's asking me for a number, 4445, and it gets printed out there. So that's how we can create a function and then run functions in Python.